November 1971, Highway 51, between Memphis and Graceland. 11:43 p.m., rain hammers the windshield. Elvis drives alone. Black Cadillac Eldorado. Custom interior, gold trim. The same car he's driven for 3 years. The wipers beat back and forth. Fast rhythm. Hypnotic. Headlights cut through sheets of rain. Water floods the road. The highway is empty. No cars, no lights. Just darkness and rain. Elvis's hands grip the wheel. Not tight. Relaxed. He's driven this road 1,000 times. Memphis to Graceland. Graceland to Memphis. Home. Then he sees something. A figure on the shoulder. Hunched against the rain. Military uniform. Green fabric soaked black. Duffel bag on the ground. Elvis passes. 3 seconds. 4, 5. Brake lights flash red. Tires hiss on wet asphalt. The Cadillac stops. Reverse lights glow white. What happens in the next 17 minutes will stay with 2 men for the rest of their lives. One will remember it as the night everything changed. The other will never speak of it publicly. Here is the story. The soldier stands in the rain. 22 years old. Specialist James Robert McKinney. Fort Campbell, Kentucky. On leave. Trying to get home to Tupelo, Mississippi. His car broke down 6 miles back. Transmission. Dead. Tow truck won't come until morning. He started walking. In the rain. In the dark. He's been walking for an hour. No cars have stopped. Dozens have passed. Headlights appearing, growing bright. Then disappearing into the night. He doesn't blame them. It's late. It's raining. Who picks up hitchhikers at midnight? Then the Cadillac passes. Black. Expensive. Moving fast. He doesn't even raise his thumb. But the brake lights come on. McKinney stops walking. Watches. The Cadillac reverses. Smooth. Controlled. Stops beside him. The passenger window rolls down. Electric. Smooth. A voice calls out. "You need a ride, soldier?" McKinney steps closer. Bends down. Looks through the window. He sees the face. Recognizes it instantly. Freezes. The man behind the wheel smiles. "Get in. You're soaked." McKinney doesn't move. Can't move. The driver's door opens. Elvis steps out into the rain. No jacket. White shirt. Black pants. Rain soaks through immediately. He walks around the car. Opens the trunk. Grabs a towel. Thick. White. Monogrammed. "Here. Dry off before you get in." McKinney takes the towel. His hands shake. Not from cold. From shock. You're Elvis Presley." Elvis picks up the duffel bag. Heavy. Wet. Throws it in the trunk. "I am. And you're about to ruin my leather seats if you don't dry off first." McKinney wipes his face, his neck, his hands. Elvis opens the passenger door. Gestures inside. "Come on, before we both catch pneumonia." Quick thought, have you ever passed someone who needed help, then felt something pull you back? Drop a comment. McKinney gets in. The interior is warm. Leather seats, custom dashboard. Radio playing low. Gospel music. Elvis gets back in the driver's side, shakes water from his hair, closes the door. The rain drums on the roof. Loud, constant. Elvis shifts into drive. The Cadillac moves forward. Smooth. Quiet despite the storm. "Where are you headed?" McKinney's voice cracks. "Tupelo. But anywhere closer is fine. I can—" "Tupelo it is. That's almost 2 hours out of your way." Elvis glances at him. Brief. Then back to the road. "I've got nothing but time." They drive in silence for 3 miles. McKinney keeps looking over, then looking away, like he's checking if this is real. Finally, Elvis speaks. "How long you been in?" "Sir?" "The Army." "How long?" McKinney straightens. 14 months, sir." Elvis nods. "I did 2 years. Germany, 1958 to 1960. "I know. Everyone knows. Different world back then." McKinney wants to ask questions. Hundreds of questions. But his throat is tight. "Were you at Fort Campbell?" "Yes, sir." "What do you do there?" McKinney hesitates. "Motor pool. I fix engines mostly." Elvis smiles. "Bet you could have fixed mine if I needed it." "I would have tried, sir." "Stop calling me sir. I'm not your commanding officer." "Sorry, Okay. They pass a mile marker, Memphis, 42 miles. What were you doing out here in the rain? McKinney tells him. The broken transmission, the walk, the cars that didn't stop. Elvis listens, doesn't interrupt, just drives and listens. When McKinney finishes, Elvis is quiet for a moment. I used to hitchhike, before all this. Tupelo to Memphis, Memphis to Nashville. Nobody wanted to pick up some country kid with a guitar. I remember what it feels like to watch cars pass. McKinney doesn't know what to say. Elvis continues. People forget where they came from. They get comfortable. Forget what it's like to need help. You stopped. Elvis shrugs. So did you. In the rain. You could have kept walking. Could have waited for a ride that felt safer. Some stranger in a Cadillac backing up at midnight. But you got in. McKinney smiles for the first time. I recognized the car before I recognized you. Elvis laughs. This thing's not exactly subtle. No, sir, it's not. They drive through Olive Branch, small town, dark, just streetlights and rain. Elvis turns on the heater. You warm enough? Yes, sir. Thank you. Elvis reaches under his seat, pulls out a paper bag, tosses it on McKinney's lap. Sandwiches. Made them before I left. Turkey. Hope you like turkey. McKinney opens the bag. 2 sandwiches. White bread. Thick slices of meat. Wrapped in wax paper. I haven't eaten since this morning. Elvis gestures. Go ahead. McKinney unwraps one, takes a bite. Fresh. Good. He eats slowly, trying not to seem desperate. But he's starving. Elvis watches the road. The rain is lighter now, steady instead of torrential. After a few minutes, Elvis speaks again. You got family in Tupelo? My mother. She lives on Adams Street, small house, just the 2 of us now. Your father? Died in Vietnam, 1968. Elvis's jaw tightens. I'm sorry. McKinney nods. He was a mechanic too. Army. Taught me everything I know. Silence returns. Heavy this time. Weighted with loss. Elvis turns off Highway 51 onto Highway 78, toward Tupelo, the route he knows by heart. After another mile, Elvis speaks. His voice is quieter. My mother died in '58, right before I went to Germany. I was 23. She was 46. McKinney stops chewing. Elvis continues. I bought her a house, Graceland. She only lived there for a few months. Didn't even get to enjoy it. I'd give anything to have her back, to have one more conversation, one more day. I'm sorry. Elvis waves it off. Just saying I understand. Losing a parent. Especially when you're young, it changes you. McKinney finishes the sandwich, folds the wax paper carefully. Thank you. For the food. For the ride. For this. Elvis glances over. You don't need to thank me. Yes, I do. They drive through Holly Springs, another small town. Quiet. The rain has stopped now. Just wet roads and clouds. Elvis asks more questions. About Fort Campbell. About McKinney's mother. About what he wants to do after the army. McKinney answers. Slowly at first. Then more easily. Like talking to an old friend. He asks Elvis questions, too. About Germany. About performing. About what it's like to be famous. Elvis answers honestly. No rehearsed stories, no celebrity polish. Just truth. I miss being normal sometimes. Going to a movie without causing a scene. Eating at a diner without everyone staring. Walking into a store and just browsing. McKinney tries to imagine it. Can't. But then I think about my mother. She was so proud. She'd tell everyone, my boy Elvis is gonna be somebody. And she was right. So I can't complain. This life, it's a gift. Even with the hard parts. Do you ever regret it? Elvis considers this. Long pause. Sometimes I regret what I lost. Privacy, normalcy, real friendships. But the music? Never. The connection with people? Never. The ability to help people? Never. They pass a sign. Tupelo. 15 miles. McKinney shifts in his seat. Almost there. Elvis notices. What's Adams Street? It's on the east side, near the old fairgrounds. I know where that is. I used to play around there as a kid. McKinney looks at him. You grew up in Tupelo. Born there. Lived there until I was 13. Then we moved to Memphis. I didn't know. Elvis smiles. Not many people remember. They think of me as Memphis. But Tupelo is where it started. They enter the city limits. Streetlights appear. Houses. Familiar landmarks. Elvis navigates without directions. Muscle memory. Turns onto Adams Street. McKinney points. Third house on the left. The white one. Elvis pulls up to the curb. Turns off the engine. The house is small. One story. White siding. Front porch. A light is on in the window. McKinney sees the curtain move. His mother, waiting up. Elvis gets out. Walks to the trunk. Opens it. Pulls out the duffel bag. McKinney joins him. Takes the bag. Elvis closes the trunk. Leans against it. The night is quiet now. No rain. Just crickets. The smell of wet earth. McKinney sets the bag down. Extends his hand. Thank you. I don't know what else to say. Just thank you. Elvis shakes his hand. Firm grip. Warm. You take care of your mother. And yourself. I will. Elvis starts to get back in the car, then stops, turns back. Wait here a second. He opens the driver's door, reaches into the glove compartment, pulls something out, walks back to McKinney, hands him a folded bill. $100. For the car, get it fixed. McKinney's eyes widen. I can't. Yes, you can. Consider it from one mechanic to another. Sir, this is too much. Elvis puts his hand on McKinney's shoulder. Your father served. You're serving. This is the least I can do. Get the car fixed. Get home safe next time. McKinney's eyes well up. He nods, unable to speak. Elvis pats his shoulder, gets back in the Cadillac. McKinney watches as Elvis starts the engine. The window rolls down. One more thing. Don't tell anyone about this, not for my sake, for yours. People won't believe you anyway. Elvis smiles, winks. The window rolls up. The Cadillac pulls away. Tail lights disappearing down Adams Street. Turning on to Main Street. Gone. McKinney stands in the street, duffel bag at his feet, $100 bill in his hand. The front door opens. His mother steps onto the porch. Gray hair. Worn robe. Worried face. James? Baby, is that you? McKinney picks up his bag, walks toward her. Yeah, Mama, it's me. She hugs him, tight, relief flooding through her. I was so worried. You said you'd be here hours ago. Car broke down, but I got a ride. She pulls back, looks at him. Who brought you? McKinney glances back at the empty street, pauses. Just a guy. Heading this way. She studies his face, knows there's more, but doesn't push. Well, come inside. You're soaking wet. They go inside. The door closes. The porch light stays on. 5 years pass. January 1976. McKinney is out of the Army, living in Memphis, running his own garage, McKinney's Motors, small shop, East Memphis, near Graceland. He thinks about that night often. The rain, the Cadillac, the conversation. He never told anyone. Not his mother, not his friends. Kept his promise. The $100 fixed his car and paid for the first month's rent on the garage. He hangs a small photo in his office. Elvis in his Army uniform. Germany, 1959. No inscription, no explanation. Just the photo. Customers ask about it sometimes. He just says he admires the man. Leaves it at that. August 16th, 1977. McKinney is under a car, changing oil, radio playing in the background. The music stops. An announcer's voice. We interrupt this program with breaking news. McKinney keeps working, doesn't pay attention. Elvis Presley has died at his home in Memphis. He was 42 years old. McKinney's wrench slips. Clatters on the concrete floor. He slides out from under the car, stands, walks to the radio, turns it up. The announcer continues. Details. Graceland. Paramedics, hospital, pronounced dead at 3:30 p.m. McKinney's hands shake, the same way they shook that night, in the rain, on Highway 51. He sits down, on the floor of his garage, and cries. For the first time since his father died, he cries. Not for Elvis Presley, the star, but for the man who stopped, who drove 2 hours out of his way, who gave $100 without hesitation, who talked like a friend, who understood loss. His assistant finds him there 20 minutes later. "Boss, you okay?" McKinney wipes his face. Stands. "Yeah. Just, someone I knew died. I heard about Elvis. Did you know him?" McKinney looks at the photo on the wall. Pauses. Once. A long time ago. September 1977. 1 month after Elvis dies. McKinney closes the garage early, drives to Graceland. Thousands of people line the street. Flowers, cards, tributes. He parks half a mile away, walks. At the gates, he stops, looks through the bars, the house, the grounds, where Elvis lived, where he died. McKinney reaches into his pocket, pulls out a folded piece of paper, a letter he wrote last night. It tells the whole story. The rain, the ride, the $100, the promise of silence. He approaches a guard at the gate. Older man, security uniform. "Excuse me, could you make sure this gets to the family?" The guard takes the letter, looks at McKinney. "What is it?" "Just a story. About a night in 1971, about kindness." The guard nods. "I'll make sure it gets in." "Thank you." McKinney turns, walks back to his car. He never knows if the letter reaches the family, never receives a response, doesn't expect one. He just needed them to know. That night mattered. That small act of stopping, turning around, helping a stranger. It changed everything. December 2003. McKinney is 64 years old, still running the garage, smaller now. Just him and one assistant. A reporter from the Memphis Commercial Appeal is writing a piece. Memories of Elvis, untold stories from locals. She interviews dozens of people, barbers, waitresses, store owners. Someone mentions McKinney, says he has a story, but never tells it. She visits the garage, introduces herself. McKinney is hesitant. 32 years of silence. She asks simple questions. About the garage, about Memphis, about Elvis. Finally, he tells her. The whole story, start to finish. Every detail. She writes it down, verifies what she can. Weather reports from November 1971, rain, Highway 51, McKinney's service record at Fort Campbell. It all checks out. The article runs on December 21, 2003. Page B4, Local Interest section. The Night Elvis Stopped, a Soldier's Story. McKinney doesn't read it, doesn't need to. He lived it, but others do. People from Tupelo, veterans from Fort Campbell, fans from around the world. They send letters to the garage, thanking him for sharing, saying they had similar experiences. Elvis helping, Elvis giving, Elvis stopping when others passed by. McKinney keeps the letters in a box, reads them sometimes, reminds himself he wasn't alone. That night wasn't unique. It was typical. That's who Elvis was. March 2008. McKinney has a heart attack. Mild, recoverable. But a warning. He decides to retire. Sells the garage. Moves to a small house near the lake. Quiet. Peaceful. He takes the photo from the office wall. Hangs it in his living room. Visitors ask about it. He tells them the story now, without hesitation, without shame, because it deserves to be told. August 16, 2018. 41 years after Elvis died. McKinney is 79. He drives to Graceland. Candlelight vigil. Thousands of people. Candles flickering in the dark. He joins the procession. Walks slowly. Past the meditation garden. Past the graves. Elvis's grave. Gladys's grave. Vernon's grave. He stops. Looks at the marker. Elvis Aaron Presley. January 8, 1935, August 16, 1977. He doesn't cry, just stands, remembering. The rain, the Cadillac, the conversation, the kindness. Someone behind him speaks. Older woman, southern accent. Did you know him? McKinney nods. Once, for about 2 hours. But they were the most important 2 hours of my life. She smiles. He had that effect on people? Yes, he did. McKinney places a small wreath at the grave. White flowers. Simple. No card. He turns, walks back through the crowd, gets in his car, drives home. January 2023. McKinney dies peacefully in his sleep. 83 years old. His children find the box of letters, the newspaper article, the photo. They donate them to the Elvis Presley Museum at Graceland, display in the Kindness of the King exhibit, along with hundreds of similar stories. McKinney's story becomes part of the permanent collection. Visitors read it, see the photo, hear about the night in the rain. Some cry, some smile. All understand. Elvis stopped. When he could have kept driving. When most people would have kept driving. He stopped, turned around, helped a stranger. That's legacy. Not the movies, not the songs, the moments, the people, the help. Quick thought. Have you ever been helped by someone who didn't have to help you? Someone who went out of their way? Drop a comment about who they were and what they did. The Cadillac from that night still exists. 1969 Cadillac Eldorado, black with gold trim. Owned by a private collector now, displayed at car shows occasionally. The plaque reads, believed to be the car Elvis drove on November 12, 1971, when he gave a stranded soldier a ride to Tupelo. People take photos, touch the hood. Imagine that night. The highway is still there. Highway 51. Memphis to Tupelo. Repaved dozens of times. But the same route. Sometimes people drive it. Pilgrimage. Retracing the journey. They pull over where McKinney might have stood. Look into the rain. Or the clear night. And imagine what it must have been like to see those brake lights. To hear that voice. You need a ride, soldier? The $100 bill is gone. Spent long ago. On a transmission. On rent. On starting a life. But its impact remains. A garage that served Memphis for 30 years. Customers helped. Cars fixed. Lives kept moving. All because one man stopped. One man gave. One man cared. McKinney's mother died in 1995, never knowing who brought her son home that night. McKinney kept the promise until she passed. Then he felt free to tell. Her obituary made no mention of Elvis, just that she was proud of her son, his service, his business, his life. But in her nightstand drawer, after she died, McKinney found something. A newspaper clipping. From 2003. The night Elvis stopped. She had known. Had read it. Had never said a word. Respecting his story. Respecting his silence. Knowing when to speak and when to listen. That's family. The rain that fell that night. November 1971. Fell on a lot of highways, a lot of people. But only one man stopped. Only one man turned around. Only one man remembered what it felt like to need help. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, the boy from Tupelo, the man who never forgot where he came from. And unfortunately, they don't make men like Elvis Presley anymore.